Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are doing a recap and review of Married at First Sight season 11 episode 16, Decision Day. So if you are new here, please subscribe. If you like the video, smash the like button, and let's jump into this video. So we're going to start off with our first couple of the night, which is Bennett and Amelia. And they started out by each couple giving a description of what they thought and felt about each other. And in this case, Amelia started first, saying how Bennett is a beautiful man who takes the most mundane moments and turn it into a hilarious one. He disappears into his own world. He's a groovy person who has a sense of style. And Amelia thinks that he's self-reliant and he has a lot of big, beautiful words. He reads her bedtime stories. These are things that she mentioned that we've seen over the past in our eyes, 16 episodes. But they went through this for 4 months. And then and it was funny that she did mention this is the same guy who loves to sleep in a dress every night, her wackiest ideas. He doesn't let others' opinions keep him from doing anything that he wants to do. And that was the one thing that I would say I do like about this couple, is that they walk to the beat of their own drum. They don't react to other people's opinions to them. They do them, they live their life. So I really appreciate that about them. And then, of course, he had some great things to say about her and how great of a musician that she is. The sound of her voice is very soothing, how well she can walk a slack line. And she's always eager for a new adventure or experience. And, he's crazy about her. And so, like I said, she's the same way. The thing is, that whole thing last week with her talking about just being on the show, I honestly think that originally maybe she felt that way. But when she found out her so-called not so strange stranger, she fell in love with him. So that makes everything pretty much a moot point. And in Bennett's eyes, obviously it is. So, they pretty much recapped their love story. And it was indeed a love story in their own unique way. And, the thing is that out of all of the people in the world, they found each other. So now it is their time to discuss their decisions with the experts. And Bennett comes in there with that hat that Amelia said that she would have just went crazy over if he had wore that to the wedding. So it's interesting that he wore it on decision day. And, the experts were pretty much asking them, what has been some of the biggest hurdles and things that they've gone through. And honestly, the only issue that they really had, besides that whole photo op last week about her, is the moving to Virginia, which she recently found out for her residency. And they've just been able to, work it out in stride. But what was the shocker for them is, and you can tell by Dr. V's face, that he decided to get a tattoo of her initials on his butt. And everybody thought that was the craziest thing. They actually thought that he was probably pulling down his pants for whatever reason. But he got a tattoo of her initials on his butt. So obviously, Bennett is in for life with this. And she was just floored. She was floored, and I don't blame her. I think these two were meant to be. They're soulmates. Everything about them is unique, creative. They complement each other. And I know the experts were really rooting for them, and they were definitely proud of the fact that they were able to bring these two together. So I am so happy for Bennett and Amelia. And of course, they had their little toast. And, I only wish the best the very best for them. We will see them again at the finale of the reunion show, but they are such a beautiful couple. They live life on their own terms. They're always positive. They root for each other. Yeah, we've known this. This is a couple that stood the test of time. And, like I said, we hope the best for them. So let's jump into our next couple, who is Brett and Olivia. Now, of course, they separated after 10 weeks. She described Brett as this interesting guy that she was super excited to meet, especially after she saw him at the altar. He's a great cat dad. He's a great brother. He has a sarcastic humor, but he also has very strong opinions. And he's great at managing his money, which we all know that. He's definitely building for his future. And then the fact that they have so many differences, it was hard for the two of them to overcome. And, honestly, I really truly think that the two of them could have worked it out. I think actually, as much as a lot of people didn't feel Brett abrasiveness, I really truly think that he really wanted to be in this situation. And then as for him describing Olivia, he called her kind, compassionate, caring, somebody that, he could have a great time with. But the thing is, as we all remember from the previous episodes, is that, it got to the point where she turned cold. I mean, she became nitpicky. She became very stubborn. And she always made it about him fixing the problem, but never wanted to take ownership, of her own problems. Now, she did say that there's some things she should be accountable for, but the thing is, she never held herself accountable. It's one thing to say it, but it's the other thing to recognize where you went wrong and make some changes. And it's so unfortunate because I really truly think that, just say if they put the other things to the side, the only other issues though, so, maybe I'm 50% on that, because the other thing is that they had foundation issues, and some of those foundation issues were kids and spending money and things like that. So even if they maybe got along, and maybe they could have, been in a situation where they chose to compromise. The problem is that, somebody would have had to give up something huge, which coming to kids, whether, he conceded to her with not having kids or she conceded to him with having kids. So, it's unfortunate. And then on the flip side, his bluntness, his rigidness, as much as maybe they could have, there were also, on the other side of that, there are some things that it just wasn't working out. So now it's time for them to meet with the experts on decision day. And it was interesting when he had a conversation with Olivia when they were sitting together there on the couch. He said he felt like a placeholder husband and that he felt generic. And that is pretty interesting, that he felt like he was just holding a spot, and not really being a husband in theory, but not a husband in substance. So, one thing I will say about him is that he's very methodical. So he speaks from a level of try to be intellectual, but at the same time, I do feel when he was talking to her on the couch, there was a measure of compassion. But like, Pastor Cal said with her, it's like, damn if he do, damn if he don't. She's not going to accept any of it because she don't think it's genuine. And it's like, okay. I don't know what the deal was behind the scene. We saw the receipts on the video from when they were really affectionate and they were hugging each other and watching a movie together. And then she says that he's not the nice person on camera that he is he isn't on off camera. I don't know. And so Brett really didn't have to say much because she basically put it out there as nope, he's not being real. I don't think he's genuine. I just don't think he's legit. And Pastor Kel's looking at her like, what are you talking about? And this is the same conversation that both Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal had with her, and she just don't get it. And I mean, the thing is, Brett also even apologized. There are some things that she communicated on decision day that he never even noticed she felt about. And when they asked him, well, did she communicate that? He was like, no. So, I mean, outside of the fundamental issues, just say those things, they were equally agreed on kids and how to spend money. Just the mere fact that they don't communicate well, and she just truly don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth, they weren't going to get anywhere anyway, you know. And I didn't even see a big shock to the experts when, you know, they both said no. Because in their eyes, they know what Brett and Olivia have been dealing with when dealing with each other. So I wish them both the best. I don't think that they would be, you know, well together. Olivia will find that nice guy who want to bring her flowers because that was her biggest wish on wedding day. And in regards to Brett, you know, I honestly think that most of his sarcastic humor was due to the fact of him having a defense mechanism. So when he's backed in the corner, he lashes out, and that's how he fight back. And a lot of that also comes from his family, and I think the fact because he's been hurt when that ex-fiance cheated on him twice. So the final verdict with them was no, which we all expected. It wasn't no big surprise or shocker with this one. And we wished them all the best. And the experts were pretty much not surprised. They were like, well, it was to be expected. But Olivia, you know, you gotta, you can't just carry, unless you find somebody that's just going to carry or follow you around, that's what you're going to end up being by yourself. All right, let's move on to our next couple, Miss Karen and Mr. Miles. So they also get to describe different things about each other. And, you know, Karen said there are so many things that she admires about Miles and how he prides himself on being thoughtful, putting others first. He can be serious, but at the same time, he can be silly and have a lot of energy. She can't hardly control herself because half the time he gets her to laugh all the time. And she said that he does not get embarrassed about anything, you know, and that when she's tired, you know, he, you know, rubs her feet, and they're super competitive, and, you know, she really likes that about him. And she even said that's the thing that she loves about him. That did not go unmissed. I heard that, Karen. And then, of course, he was saying about her that he likes the fact that she can be serious and silly. She's like a swan. And then what the cute thing he said is that she comfortably fits into a small space in the middle of his chest as if it was meant for her. Now, he does go into the other part of it, is that how Karen is a very complicated person and she's a mystery. And, you know, he's trying to figure it out. And here's the thing. I kind of want to, kind of dive into this one a little deeper because I've been listening to a lot of other commentators. I've been watching, messages on social media. And, of course, what we've seen in the past 15 episodes have really shown Karen, based either on what she said, whatever, in a bad light. Now, I have been seeing other things, outside interviews that she's had. I've also seen, things that her mom is saying. She's saying is how she's really getting a bad edit. And that's possible because reality shows and the media is notorious for that. And a lot of people, after they made their decision, of course, as we well know watching the show tonight, that they did choose to stay together in the marriage, it kind of took people by surprise. Some of the things she was saying, how she grown to love him, or take that back, they've grown a lot closer and she sees him differently in the past several weeks. So now it's their time for decision day. And, they had him come on the scene looking as if, they were going to say no. And I didn't know what to expect, but at the same time, I had been reading things behind the scenes that they were still together. They were actually at a 90s party together a couple weeks ago. And according to her interview, there's a lot of things that's left out. And I know I'm kind of deviating from what was actually happening tonight. I just want to put some things out there because I know I did the video last week on the both of them. But, seeing some things come to light over this past weekend, I mean, there was the scene where she, when Miles, that first month anniversary, gave her a gift of the shirt. They never showed what she gave him. She bought him a record player with all of his favorite albums of different musicians that he liked. They never even showed that. There's other things that there's a scene where she was kissing him goodnight at bedtime. They cut that out. They never showed that. They showed that at the very beginning of the season, but they never aired it. So when I see things like that, because one thing about my channel, I like quality content. I don't, gossipy type things. If it's true, rumors, blah, blah, blah. But I also like to put the facts out there, and I don't like character assassination. So when I see things, I do stand corrected. And I'm hoping that, Karen and Miles can come out this united, unified, because what we've seen versus what's coming out behind the scenes is like two different realities. So, it's up to you guys how you want to perceive it. But like I say, I like to get the truth on people because I know if I was in that position, I would want people to know what really is going on versus what is being perceived or spoon-fed to me. So I just had to put that out. That's just my rant. But back to decision day. She said that over the past few weeks, she's felt extremely more comfortable with him. He stated the same thing about her and how at first he said he don't know if she's going to be that one to get, be able to get to a point where they get intimate. But he's seen some things in the last several weeks as well. So obviously there's some things that we're not seeing that they've been doing. And like I said, I've seen some things myself in regards to what's coming out on them. Like I said, they were at the 90s party a couple weeks ago with Woody and Amani. And it was just so awesome to see that they want to try to make it work. I mean, I heard somebody say, well, shouldn't you be able to fall in love with somebody in 4 months? Falling in love is a commitment. It's not a feeling. You got to be committed to somebody, good days and bad days. And if they're willing to try to make this work and see if they can take it past the 4 months, more power to them. I'm not going to criticize him. I'm not going to criticize her. I want them to be happy if that's together or if it's apart, But I am pleased to see that they're going to try to make it work. And it's their decision, and we're rooting for them, those of us that are, and so are they. All right, so let's move on to Henry and Christina. And it was interesting because, like I say, each couple had to express the great things about each other. And Henry actually mustered up some things about her. And one thing I do want to say is that the experts said that they were both remain committed to the process and finding their way through it. And it was a difficult one, as we saw, because I'm telling you, they had a lot of storms in their relationship. But Christina was saying that Henry is different than anyone she ever dated. He's definitely very awkward and shy, But, he's done some things to step outside of his comfort zone for her. And, he moves impossibly slow, but he's also a gentleman. He's somebody that like I say, she's never have dated before. Sorry about that. But he loves fine wine. He always talk without, when having a long day, things like that. And then he even had some things to say about her as well, about the fact that, he likes the fact that they can watch movies together and stuff like that and go for walks. And I was surprised at that because we didn't get to see much of that. But okay. So they actually had their sit down for their decision on decision day with the experts. And, they was like, hey, you guys have been in a very tight environment, especially due to the pandemic. They've had some ups and downs, as we all know. But the biggest issue with these two is her lack of patience, his lack of communication, her criticizing, being passive aggressive, and at the same time, again, his lack of communication. What really, I think, took this ship under with these two is the fact of this whole text message. Now, I kind of want to explore that with you guys because I find this very interesting. Texting from outside, I don't know where she said she didn't even know where the text came from. She thought somebody had sent her a prank, one of her friends, and Henry is like, dude, hey, you were trying to blackmail me with that. And she was like, no, I would never. I never thought you was gay in the first place. I don't understand. And they were acting like they were in two different realities. Even the experts said that. I mean, Henry was just so frustrated, and I don't blame him. And she was flustered because either she got caught in a lie, which I think she did. Did she ever get the text? We'll never know. Like the expert said, Henry, did you see the text? He was like, she said that her phone deletes text message after 30 days. Okay, but you had 30 days to see it. So I don't understand. But my question is, where did text message come from? Now, I watch social media to listen for conversations. And the interesting thing is that some folks were saying that maybe production sent it. Because we don't know how even Karen got that text on wedding day. But neither here nor there, they ended their marriage. They decided that it would be beneficial for the both of them to walk and go their separate ways, which absolutely the truth. They don't belong together. Pastor Cal told Dr. Pepper this in the first place, and now we're at decision day, and this is where it is. All right, let's move to our last couple of the night, and that is Woody, aka Woodrow, and Amani, the Randalls. So, I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous. That dress, his suit, they need to have their own show, either their own YouTube channel, their own spinoff, they click on every way possible. I mean, I don't know about you guys, I was actually in tears. And she was describing him, and she was like, he walks into a room and he lights up any room. He's not the life of the party. He is the party. He never stopped dancing. You never have to wonder what he's thinking. He likes to make decisions together. And the thing is that he's always stayed a task. He's been consistent. And then he says about her how gorgeous she is, how much he loves chocolate. She titillates his flesh. I was like, you go, boy. Go ahead, Amani. She's very sweet. She's not afraid to speak her mind. She laughs at him, but at the same time, she keeps it cool when she's upset with him. I mean, they just click. The experts did an excellent job with these two. I mean, they're one of my favorite 2020 couples of the dating reality show. My other favorite couple is Justine and Caleb from Love Island, but I digress. So we're on their decision day, and they was talking about how good they look and how good they smell, and I was just like, okay, they ain't getting a divorce. She's just playing with him. So anywho, oh my God, Woody, you talking about somebody being extremely vulnerable and putting his feelings out to the world, out to his wife. He had Dr. Viviana in straight tears. He said that he learned that love can be beautiful, that it's unconditional. He never thought that he would even get there and get that kind of unconditional love until he met his spouse. Love changes you, and that being married to his wife is nothing like he ever expected. And I mean, he was just going in, and then for her to scoot over close to you and say, I love you. And oh my God, look at that. I'm getting misty-eyed as I speak. I love these two. I really do. And I mean, they even got Pastor Cal choked up. I mean, he was looking like, oh my God. It was a beautiful story to watch with these two. That her love changed him. It opened his eyes to see that there's so much more to look forward to. I mean, oh my goodness. It was, and I'm gushing. I know you guys, you're trying to listen to my commentary, but Woody put it out there. He put his heart, his soul for several lifetimes out there, and the experts couldn't be more pleased. They definitely did a good job with this one. And like Pastor Carol said, this is what we wanted to see. This is exactly what we wanted from our couples. And even Amani, she was saying where her feelings were and how proud and, honored that she is to be his wife. That she wants to continue to be married to him. I'm so proud of these two. I am so proud of these two. And to me, they'll be a power couple. I mean, both of them are very well educated. Woody is double degreed, as I mentioned in my previous video last week. She's also in education. They're talking about buying a house, some babies, a dog. This is exactly what that should look like, and I am so happy for them. I just want her to be a great wife and him to be a great husband to each other. They even compliment them. It was like they called each other and say, hey, I'm wearing black and white. What you wearing? I'm wearing black and white too. All right, let's get it. Did y'all see Woody's shoes though with the metallic? Go ahead, Woody, do you. Do you. But I do love the fact that they walked out in unison, hand in hand. This is our new, favorite couple. I so love them. And you guys, I know you love them too. And that was our last couple for Decision Day. So after Decision Day, they basically had their little one-on-one confessionals about how everything went and, what they're looking forward to for the future. And how happy they are with the decisions that they make. Because we're 3 out of 5 this season. With season 10, we only had one couple, which was Jessica and Austin, and the other 4 crashed and burned. Not literally, but relationship-wise. But this season, they did pretty well. We got 3 couples out of the 5 couples that said yes. So they all had met up as friends to kind of catch up with each other and check out what their decisions were. And of course, Woody and Amani was like, hey, we stay together. And as typical fashion, Woody and Amani always lead the group. They are the commentators or the MC of the group. But, oh yeah, I forgot, you guys. Did you hear that, you know how we heard that Karen said this whole thing about put me in my place? Christina said the same thing. Woody says that Amani puts him in his place, and he was okay with that. See, it is, hey, it can go both ways, I guess, depending on if that's what you like, that's what you like. But then they got on this whole thing, you know, with Brett and Olivia. I'm not going to even address that because that was crazy and a waste of time. We know you're not together, and watching y'all throw digs at each other was useless. So anyway, I thought this was cute because Amelia had to leave the next day to go off to Richmond, and everybody got together to decorate the vehicle and write little sweet goodbye quotes and give them an awesome send-off. I thought that was so sweet. And honestly, some friendships have been built here because they've been through one of the craziest seasons, one of the craziest years of Married at First Sight history. Other couples get 8 weeks. They got 16. So they spent a lot of time in this whole process, pandemic and all. But, you know, I wish all of them the best. I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for them. Remember, guys, the finale of the reunion show is tomorrow. We got some crazy previews, but I'm just going to hold my breath on that. We'll see what it actually comes out. And Atlanta is season 12, so look out for that. All right, so we got post notifications, shout outs. If you want to be shouted out, comment down below and I'll shout you out. The first one is Whitney Solier. Thank you for engaging in the channel. Thank you for the compliment on the review. I really appreciate it. And then the next one is for Giovanna. Thank you so much for engaging in the channel as well. You guys, it's been a great season. We look forward to the finale. We look forward to season 12, and we will see you next time.